Welcome, Wrestle Buddies, to our weekly podcast. We're going to talk all things Full Gear, bit of WWE, and we've got our resident expert, expert with us, Joe. So, Matty, first of all, we've got Matty, Quizmaster Matty of the Young Fucks. Thank you for joining us, Matty. How are you doing?
Doing great, doing great. Slept through Full Gear last night, got to watch it this morning, so I'm actually pretty caught up, so ready to go.
And we've got the Drip King himself, Jim A. Baby. How are we doing, Jim?
Doing good, doing good. Like Maddie, I got to watch it this morning. I was at a concert last night, so I didn't get to see it. I avoided most of the spoilers, but yeah, I watched this today, so I'm caught up.
Good stuff. And we've got our resident Impact specialist, the Joker. How are we doing, Joker?
I'm good, thank you. It's good to be back. How are you guys?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. We've got a lot of wrestling to go through, guys. I think, first of all, we'll start with SmackDown, probably is the best place to start. Give a little bit of a look on SmackDown, and then we'll move into a bit of Impact, finish off with Full Gear. First of all, what did we all think of SmackDown?
From what I saw, it was decent. It was
Same here. What I saw wasn't the best SmackDown. I'm very confused with some of the decisions made on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Kudos to Xavier Woods, though, my king. My king.
Yeah.
Our king. The true king.
Okay. As long as we're on the same page.
Here's my dad in the chat again. Hi, Dad. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hope you're feeling well, Dad. SmackDown was not really good, to be honest, for my liking. I thought there was some of the stuff just really annoyed me, like when Aliyah and Naomi and Sasha Banks defeated Shotzi, Shayna, and Natalya. Obviously, Aliyah got the win, and then the next minute it was right, you're out of the Survivor Series match. Why? Do you know what I mean? It's just lazy booking again in my eyes. It's just so frustrating. Sami Zayn coming out and having a little chat, and then it was like Adam Pearce just appeared and was like, okay, what, you want Jeff Hardy off the team? Yeah, Sami hasn't explained why he wants Jeff Hardy off the team. He just wants him off the team. Do you know what I mean? There's just no really like reason for it. And then it's okay, used to in a match, whoever loses is off the team. Okay. And we're just meant to just accept that. What's your thought on the Jimmy?
I think the Survivor Series should just be scrapped at this point. They put no effort into it, and it's just a big mess. And apparently they're even having trouble selling tickets to the show, and I can see why. It's been on a downfall for years to me, and this is just, I feel like, rock bottom. So,
yeah. But the thing is that's so annoying is the fact is like it's only on a decline because it's getting booked that way. Do you think, Matty?
Yeah, without a doubt. It's been booked into the ground. It's been the annual pay-per-view for how many years now? And with recent years, it's just gotten lazy. This year, they decided to announce the teams on Twitter, and they decided we don't like the teams, so we're going to take a member off of each one and not tell you who we're going to put on.
And this is the frustrating thing about it is like, if you look at the format of Survivor Series, if you keep to that core format of what it's always been, or especially what it was in the early days, there's really no reason why it shouldn't succeed. I don't get why WWE have to constantly mess around with it. And, you know, it's even like, for instance, putting Roman Reigns versus Biggie on this pay-per-view. Why? You know, you could easily have the Bloodline versus the New Day. Great match, great pay, you know, but they decided to hotshot that on Raw, didn't they, Jimmy?
Yeah, and I feel like with the Raw match, though, they kind of left it open-ended so that we could do it at Survivor Series. I think that's what everyone was expecting. And if you did it, it still gives us the same thing. You're getting the Big E versus Roman Reigns matchup that we all want to see. It's just extra booked with the New Day and the Usos, who no one's going to complain about seeing because they're both fantastic. And they just... I don't even want to say it's lazy. I feel like they're going above and beyond to be bad at booking Survivor Series. It just doesn't make sense. And
I know
to take Aaliyah, just one more, to take Aaliyah off is just infuriating almost, because she's one of the few that I feel like should be on it because she needs that platform to get noticed. And now they just took it away from her. It's ridiculous.
And we got Teeman Joker in the chat who said, who do you think will replace Aliyah on SmackDown? I think it will be the return of Bayley.
Sonya.
Sonya. Okay.
I think maybe Naomi, because Sonya wanted to light a fire under Naomi's ass for some reason.
Yeah, I do
So-
get you. It's just so frustrating on my part. It's just like I just feel like it's, as you say, it's hot shot booking at its best. And I think the other thing that really frustrates me with WWE at the moment, especially with going into Survivor Series, is they could really have used NXT in this, which would have created a lot of buzz. If you had had the three teams, going at it, NXT bringing the young guys in, and also from an NXT perspective, if you're looking to use NXT as a developmental, as you say, Survivor Series is probably your one time a year when you can bring these guys into the fold. There's a total reason to do that. And every year you could have your 5 top NXT guys who come in, and they're going to be working with really established stars from each brand, and you could learn a lot in that match. Be around the pay-per-views, be around the whole thing, and see how it all works. And Jimmy, you know what I'm trying to say, don't you?
Yeah. If you look, I think a lot of people would agree that if you look at the 2019 one where NXT was included, that was probably the best book Survivor Series and the best overall Survivor Series the past 10 years. There might be a few that could contend with it, but they're like here and there. Like that was just a fantastic show from top to bottom. And it also allows viewers who don't really watch NXT to see what they're missing and maybe tune in. And that's something that they failed to do last time, is capitalize on NXT winning and then getting the viewers to stay watching the show. I feel like they could do that now and then put a little bit more effort into making people say, hey, this is a show you should probably be tuning in to see.
Yeah.
With people like Braun Breaker. I mean, that's a guy people are going to want to watch. So,
and do you know what, Matty? On the just on the last point here before we move on from SmackDown, because I say it was a poor show in general in my eyes.
Oh yeah.
Was people I've seen a lot of people slamming the Charlotte segment on this week, where Toni Storm come out and demanded a title shot. Charlotte blew it off and said no, she's focusing on Becky. I liked it. I thought that was really, really well done. At the end of the day, if you're Toni Storm and coming out, what have you done to deserve a title shot? You got beaten the Queen of the Ring tournament, or whatever the friggin' hell it's called, Queen's Crown.
Queen's Crown, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, you got beaten that by in the first round. You've not done much else since you've been on the main roster. So for once, in my eyes, it was the right move by WWE to turn around and say, well, what have you done to earn this? Now go away. I've got bigger fish to fry.
And for the people,
honestly, yeah. And
for the people who want to complain about it, they're the same people that would say, if they gave Toni Storm a shot, why is Toni Storm getting a title shot? Yeah. So WWE finally did something right, and they're not going to get any credit for it.
Yeah,
and I think Toni's lost. I think Toni's lost like 8 of her last 10 matches, and it probably stretches even further back than that.
Yeah, her run in NXT wasn't anything special either. So
no, when they brought her to NXT, they were like, "Here's a shiny new toy. We're also going to have Ember Moon come back, but we're not going to talk about that." That whole her transition into NXT, and then she just kept losing. So yeah, her challenging Charlotte and Charlotte just going, yeah, no, it makes sense. But if Toni Storm wanted to make a present, she would have, tried to attack her, put her foot down, and give Charlotte a reason to want to fight her. There was no reason to fight there. So yeah,
no reason at all. As I say, I thought that was one of the good parts of the of the week. It wasn't for me. Of the whole SmackDown was that point, is the fact is it made sense, and something that WWE don't seem to make a lot of recently is sense. So it is what it is. Right then, so let's move on to our Impact Wrestling specialist, Joker. Do you want to give us a roundup of the weekly news for Impact, my man?
Okay. Firstly, I'm pretty sure most of you know Lady Frost has been officially signed to Impact Wrestling after a very, very long fought-out battle to get her to come to the company. She's made several appearances over the last year, and Impact. I've had a chance to interview her before this all came about. She was keen to come to Impact Wrestling then, although she didn't fully hint it then. But she's been Impact Wrestling and AEW have always been like the two of the best places she's worked for, and she was always torn between the two. But Impact was always one that was on her hit list to go to. So congratulations to her. She was also one of the people that Deonna Purrazzo wanted to see come to Impact Wrestling as well, alongside Tootie Lynn and Kenzie Page, who I think are with Ring of Honor or on the independent scene at the moment. So there might be room for them to come in, but Deonna Purrazzo's got one person that she wants to come in, and so there's potential for a rivalry possibly to build up between them two, maybe. I noticed that since Frankie Monet's been released from NXT, she's changed the name back to Taya Valkyrie straight away. So hopefully, if you're an Impact Wrestling fan, that could be hinting that Taya Valkyrie's coming back to Impact Wrestling when a 90-day contract, no compete clause is up. That's wishful thinking, obviously, but we don't hope. And I don't think there's any other better place for her to go than to Impact Wrestling at the moment, or possibly NWA, seeing as Ring of Honor's gone. And I don't think she'd be used right in AEW.
Yeah, Taya Valkyrie is going to be great coming back, and I think she's under that NXT 30-day non-compete, so we might see her sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
I'd really like to see her go to AEW. I'll be totally honest, not because anything to do with Impact Wrestling. I think AEW needs her.
Yeah,
they need a new star.
They need a woman that could wrestle, that knows already. No discredit to any of those girls. Just the difference between Valkyrie and those girls is huge.
And Mike Spiebel, who's recently been signed to Impact Wrestling, he's coming in January. And I'm not sure what the official date is, but the news is going on. He's definitely due to come in by January. And Masha Slamovich, who's also recently been signed, is currently still touring around the US. She's going to be coming to the upcoming Wrestling Revolver show, which is one of the promotion run by Sami Callihan. So we might be seeing her come the end of the year or January full time on Impact Wrestling as well. And next week, the Digital Media Championship is going to be defended the number one contendership for the Digital Media Championship will be a four-person match between Chelsea Green, Alicia Edwards, Matthew Raybould, and Jake something, and the winner of that will go on to face Jordan Grace. This new title that's coming, it's like the new age TV title. It's been hit and miss already, highs and lows. Or the last match Jordan Grace had to defend the title was really, really impressive against John Schuyler, and so Jordan Grace has done a great job in promoting the title and pushing the title. So there's still early days for the title, but if you listen to the TNI podcast, the guys there have got hit and miss views on it too. And big news for next Thursday. We'll be hearing from Deonna Purrazzo finally after she lost at Bound for Glory to Mickie James. So we'll finally find out what's next for Mickie James. What's next for Deonna Purrazzo? Is she going to go for a rematch straight away, or what's happening there? We're going to have the Demon Crazy Stephen Black Taurus versus Johnny Swinger, Hernandez, and Falabar in a 6-man tag team match. The Inspiration will be taking on the Undead Bridesmaids. Brian Myers will be taking on Sam Beal with nobody else in each other's corners to finally decide who is the better man. Will the student outdo the master? Will Brian Myers lose once again to his big student from the Learning Tree, Sam Beal? I hope so. I want to see that. I want to see that smug look wiped off his face again, because Sam Beal was on fire in that match he had last week, and I want to see that continue. And we also have a potential change to the match at Turning Point with Steve Macklin taking on the Radio Kid, and if Steve Macklin wins this match, he'll be added to the triple threat to the match at Turning Point. But then the high chances he's going to win this, and which is not what I want to see, to be honest. I think the Radio Kid versus Trey Miguel on its own will be an absolute showstopper, and it doesn't need to be another triple threat match for the X Division title, not after Bound for Glory. And the Japanese legend Minoru Suzuki will be taking on Josh Alexander. So Josh Alexander's path to the World Championship is still on hold while he takes out his frustrations on the absolute king of Japanese wrestling himself,
Murder Grandpa.
And for Turning Point itself, the current match is announced on the card. We have Mercedes Martinez versus Mickie James for the Knockouts title, The Inspiration versus Decay in a rematch for the Knockouts Tag Team Championship. We mentioned Trey Miguel versus Laredo Kid and possibly Steve Macklin. We've got the Bullet Club versus Chris Bay and Hikuleo. Hikuleo and Chris Bay and the Bullet Club versus the Good Brothers, and Eddie Edwards versus Moose for the world title. And matches that I've been challenges were issued out last week, so these could be added to the card. Rhino and Heath versus Violent by Design, and Rhino's called out Eric Young. So if this match goes ahead, Eric Young will most likely be in this match, seeing he's now medically cleared to wrestle, and Rhino wants to get some revenge for Heath. And Ace Austin might be taking on Chris Sabin after Chris Sabin issued a challenge to him as well. So we've got at least 7 matches that Turning Point next week, which is going to be
that's a stacked card.
That's a sound card actually.
Yeah,
really good. Okay,
managed to get 8 or 9 matches on the card, and it goes through smoothly. Impact Wrestling are booking it really well, and this is going to be live too, so it's got that extra oomph to it. It's going to be hard to get spoilers out there as to what the results are in advance.
Just let you know, guys, you can watch this live on the 20th of November on Impact Plus. And Turning Point will take place. It is November 20th, isn't it? Yep, November 20th, 2021 at Samstown live in Sunrise Manor in Nevada, and that will be on Impact Plus, so you can watch it there. Thanks, Joe, for that insight on Impact Wrestling. It's always good to hear what's going on in the world of Impact Wrestling. Obviously, we've got you covered on all lines, guys, because wrestling, there's a lot that goes on in every single promotion, so it's hard for everybody to keep up with everything. So it's always very grateful, Joe, for that. But we're going to move on, and this week's weekend belongs to AEW in my eyes. Really, really strong pay-per-view, which we're going to review now. Just before we do go into detail on each individual match, what did you think of the things, guys? Jimmy, what did you think?
I think overall it was a good pay-per-view. Solid. I don't think it lived up to All Out, but that was not going to happen. All Out was phenomenal. So I was pretty happy with most of the card. I think there was only like one match that I was like, So,
Jimmy, Matty, sorry.
I do agree with Jimmy. It definitely wasn't as good as All Out. It was still a damn good show. There was a couple hiccups here and there, but overall, I loved the show. There was high parts in just about every damn match. So I thoroughly enjoyed the show.
I really enjoyed the show. Thought it was a really good pay-per-view. The only one thing I will say is I criticize WWE for it all the time about short matches. I'm going to criticize AEW for long matches. There was a couple of points where I thought a match had come to its culmination. It was really like getting there, and they'd hit the high spots, and the story was good. It was getting there, and I was thinking, okay, here we go, and then let's go again, and then there was like another 5 minutes, and it was like it just didn't need it. Didn't need to happen. Do you know what I mean? It was just stop trying to drag it out too long.
That's been an ongoing issue for a very long time with AEW.
Yep. I will also add, I think this is the first pay-per-view where they built it great like they normally do, and it's delivered. Like with All Out, I think we talked about how it wasn't really built up as well as the other pay-per-views, but it delivered, and then the rest of the pay-per-views kind of always fell flat. This one, they had a great, meeting right there where the card lived up to the build. I thought it was really done. Sorry.
Yeah, the matches that were like mostly anticipated for were the ones that really killed it.
The one thing I would say as well is I feel like AEW could do a lot better in terms of the video packages before the match, or how to tell how we've got to this point. I don't think they do that very well. I think they've done all right with some of the matches. Like they seem to have this video package for Britt Baker versus Ty Conti, and it was like saying about how they got to this point and whatever else, which was great. MJF versus Darby Allin at the start, there was no video package, and it was just, oh, if you've seen the build up to this, you'll know what this means. It's like, okay, well, show me then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give me a bit more,
and that one definitely deserved it more than the Tay Conti and Britt Baker.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. I'd like to see a bit of continuity out there. Do it for every match, or don't do it at all. If you're not going to go down the route of doing them, that's fine. But if you are, make sure that you do them for every match.
Especially with how much Darby and MJF killed it in that first match.
And they're your pillars. Like you,
they are the pillars. They're two of the four.
Those guys are. Like
100%. I mean, one thing I will say is, if you look at WWE, some people might tune into a pay-per-view to watch Brock Lesnar. Over the years, I'll hold my hands up. I've been guilty of this, where whatever's been going on in my life, I haven't been following wrestling as closely as what I probably should have, or what I could have. And there might be a certain match I'm watching the pay-per-view for. So there might be matches before that I haven't seen any build to. But by the time I see their video package, I feel like I know the whole build and I want to watch this match.
Yep.
And I just feel like AEW don't do that very well at the present. And as they bring in more stars, the likes of CM Punk and stuff, some people may purchase the pay-per-view to watch like a CM Punk or somebody, or a Bryan Danielson. Now, you need to make them invested in your other characters. So you need to start bringing these type of things in and start really honing in these kinds of stories, so that when people watch the match, they can watch this match and they're up to date with the story. In my opinion, anyway.
No, absolutely, 100%.
Well, we'll go into the matches anyway. So, first match of the night, as we said there, no video package. It was MJF versus Darby Allin. This was an absolute perfect match. This for me. The psychology in this match, I'm not a big fan of near falls, but in this one, when they did do the kind of near falls and they were flipping and flopping and all this stuff, it made sense to me, so I didn't mind it, and I actually quite enjoyed it. Jimmy, what was your thoughts on that?
So what you were just saying, how like the near falls, I think it worked with this match because how badly these two guys want to beat the other one. Because as we all know, they are pillars to this organization, and this is a big matchup for them. They're starting the pay-per-view off. They're setting the tone for the whole show, and they want to be the winner here. I wasn't a fan of the length of the chain wrestling to begin with. It was very choreographed, but once it wasn't enough to take me out of the match because it was early, and then once the match actually started, it was brilliant. I found it hard for anyone to top that match because of how good it was. And I think people really need to start. This is going to sound crazy, but maybe including MJF in the best overall wrestler right now, because there is not a hole in this man's game. The selling that he does, and the one spot in particular when Darby does the suicide dive, taking him out, you always get people just standing there looking at it like, oh, MJF, just the little thing to look over at the guy in the audience, call him, argue with him, turn around, there's Darby, takes him out. That little bit right there just does so much for me. Yeah. And at his age, he shouldn't be better at this than everyone else on that roster. And that's crazy to me.
No, as a wrestler, he's very, very underrated.
Yes.
Extremely.
He's just so like psychology wise, he just gets it, doesn't he?
Yes.
Even in this whole match, as you say there, where he's playing with the crowd and he's doing little bits and bobs, and even when he's he knows the chain wrestling at the beginning, I thought it was really good, because as you say, if that was anywhere else in the match, it probably wouldn't have made sense. But the fact that these two knew where to put this in the match, the whole match was like this, where it was kind of up, stable, and then up, stable, and it was built so nicely, and that's why it was one of probably my favorite match on the card. Matt,
I understood why they did it, because of MJF basically saying he's a better wrestler and Darby can't compete with him. So I understood the purpose of it. It just, for me, it just went on maybe, I don't know, just a few 20 seconds too long. I know that's a small, but with the choreography, like it just looked so choreographed. It's like, okay, guys, come on, let's get going.
Yeah.
And they got going. And I'm like, okay, I forgive it. It's not.
a perfect heel win at the end where he said he was going to beat him with a headlock.
It's so perfect. God.
Diamond ring, the using the skateboard to bring it in. Hit me with it. Turns around with the referee like a baby face. Turns around, eats the diamond ring. Gets that head. And once again, this match, like, other than the ending, which proved that MJF is one of the best heels in the game right now, he got to show that he's really good at this wrestling thing. He's not just a good talker. He can go, and this match proved that.
And I said on the predictions that I wanted to see him wrestle because I felt like the whole Jericho thing ruined him, Matt.
And this match fucking knocked it out of the park. I'd looked at my little brother after this match, and I was like, after Bryan Danielson, Hangman Page, that's the next champion. Like that.
Oh, 100%.
That's the next champion.
I'd even have him before I'd have Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson.
Absolutely.
Because, do you know, in terms of Hangman Page,
I mean after their match, not after whoever flips the belt. Like that's the next champion. Period. End. Yeah,
it needs to be Hangman and MJF at some point, whether this 100%. Is this time next year or whenever it may be, because you've got the anxious cowboy who doesn't believe in himself and is probably still going to have them delts, and you've got a motherfucker like MJF who's going to come in and exploit every single little doubt, and it's just made, isn't it?
And MJF has the thing in his back pocket where, hey, you may be confident, but you've never beaten me, and that takes Adam Page right back into that self-doubt mode.
Holds that ring up.
It writes itself. If he's not the next champion, AEW, Tony Khan should be slapped because it's
the only other thing that
maybe
the only thing that maybe would suit MJF for the meantime would be the TNT champion, because getting him to defend that on TV and everybody would want him to get beat, and he just keeps on winning, and keep him wrestling for now. Maybe
that'd be fun. That'd be a fun story too.
I don't want to see him lose another match until he loses the title, though. That's my preference. I want him to be. I want people to really want to see him lose. If he wins that title, he's going to have to lose before he challenges for that. So I think they need to build. If they're going to start letting him wrestle more, build that tension. Build that up to where it's like, okay, I want to see this man lose, and it just doesn't happen.
And we talked about, Jimmy, like yesterday, we talked about the win-loss record. MJF's win-loss record is ridiculous whenever it comes to in his entire record. And I think Cody was one of them.
No, Cody didn't beat him.
Cody didn't beat him?
Mox beat him in the title match.
Okay.
And then
Jericho.
Jericho.
That's
it. That's it.
Didn't even count.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me so mad.
That's what I say. The MJF, like Jimmy said, go undefeated until you drop that belt.
Yeah.
But give Hangman a decent title reign. Maybe let MJF win the TNT title and hold it a little bit, but maybe go for the AEW title by dropping the TNT title, a la Impact Option C.
Someone's gonna take the TNT championship before February, I believe it is, because I don't know whether you've seen about Tony Khan's announcement that they're going to do a special for the first TNT show, TBS show. Sorry, it's going to be a champion versus champion show. So I don't see Sammy versus Hangman. I think Sammy will drop that to somebody before then.
Oh, Hangman and Jay Lethal.
Jesus,
what's that?
Give it back to Miro. He should have never lost it.
Miro should have. That's another thing which we'll get into later on about the fact that Miro should have won last night. Oh man, he should have. But we'll get into that anyway. On to our next match. We've got Lucha Bros versus the FTR. What a match this was!
I think it lived up to my prediction of being match of the night. It was my personal match of the night.
The only thing I'm going to say is I'll hold my hands up and say it would have been my match of the night, apart from the stupid ending.
Yeah, that ending was a little dumb.
It was very dumb. It wasn't.
It was dumb. It was dumb.
Yeah. Because and again, I feel like this match was another one of them matches, Jimmy, that kind of got us up there, built, bump, and then went that extra bit that it just didn't need to.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't want to be completely negative here. I will say I liked some of the match. I think the spots, I think they have great chemistry. I wish other tag teams followed suit of FTR in the following rules department and selling department.
They tagged while they were both in the ring.
I don't know how many times I saw Penta like just no selling everything. Like he'd just get demolished and then jump back up, do his thing, and then like, yeah. And it's like, no, man, come on. I know that's a style and the luchador style, but I don't like it in that tag match. It just didn't work for me. It was okay. It just wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
No. What's your thoughts on this, Joe? I don't know whether you've seen it yet or.
I've not seen it, but I will say Pentagon's where he does no sell moves a bit too often. It was something that happened in Impact Wrestling a lot, especially when he was in the rivalry with Sami Callihan. He seemed to take all this punishment and then like shake it off like it was nothing. So when the Lucha Bros went to AEW to begin with, Chris Jericho had a big issue with the way Pentagon wasn't selling everything and really like putting everyone over like you'd expect them to. It just seemed to be all about him, and it still seems to be an issue there now.
Okie doke, so we'll move on from that match anyway. I don't think we've seen the last of that. I think that feud will continue for a little bit longer at the moment. So we got Miro versus Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Title Elimination Tournament final. I had very high hopes for this match, and it didn't live up to what I thought it was going to be. I don't know whether that was down to me having too much of a kind of high standard for this, or whether it was the match itself. Matty, what did you think?
I was expecting this match to be more of a fight, and we got a lot of strikes, a lot of hard-hitting spots, a lot of hard-hitting slams and stuff. So it was kind of the match I was expecting it to be. Miro actually overexceeded what I expected him to do with this match. But going into this match, I did not know that Bryan Danielson had never had a pinfall or submission victory over Miro.
Didn't he beat Rusev on SmackDown?
I thought he did too. I looked it up and no.
What happened?
Interesting.
He didn't pin him.
No, I think it might have been maybe disqualification.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, and to be fair, this was another one, Jimmy, where the ending was just awful. Oh, so poor of an ending. It looked like the guillotine or whatever it was, but then Aubrey decided that he was knocked out beforehand, which I think was I don't know. I was so confused with this ending. What did you think?
Yeah, I don't know what happened in the ending, which sucks because I actually thoroughly enjoyed the match from beginning to almost the end. I wish Miro would have been more of that monster that he was showing towards the end, but I'm glad that he eventually started showing it, being like, hey, I'm bigger than you. I'm badder than you. Give me your best shot. And then he just knocks down Bryan Danielson anyway. Yeah. It was the bastard heel babyface that I was talking about yesterday, and I feel like it really did live up to that that I was talking about. But the ending does kind of damper the whole match, and that's a shame. And yes, Miro definitely should have went over.
Yeah, what was the ending? It was a DDT off the top and then transitioned into guillotine.
It was a guillotine, yeah, but apparently it was the thingy that knocked him out. Because
it didn't even look like a DDT because Miro did the whole turtle thing where he landed like all knees, arms. I thought he might have blocked it. Yeah, I thought he blocked the move completely.
Well, he's protecting his neck because that's his weakness. They keep talking about it. I like that too. I like that they're keeping continuation with.
Yeah.
Well, Miro's weakness is his neck, so that it tells that story. I think the ending could have been when Daniel had the leg lock on him, and instead of the leg that he had, get the one that's wrapped up. The ending would have made more sense, and I wouldn't be here talking about Miro probably should have went over. I'd have been cool with the finish, but.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I'm disappointed with the finish is I don't really Bryan Danielson versus Hangman at the moment. Like, meh. I don't really. Do you know what I mean? There's not really.
Who am I emotionally invested in?
Yeah, it
That's
doesn't.
what we're
It
talking about
doesn't
in the chat.
really.
Who am I going to be emotionally invested in? They're both top baby faces.
I mean, that Bryan Danielson, obviously, I feel like obviously he's won the tournament, but with Hangman winning the belt just now, it's
after
like
2 years.
Hey, this might give Daniel a chance to play a bit heelish.
Potentially.
But yeah, I love a good baby face versus baby face. I love a good heel versus heel match.
But after he's just won the belt, he needs this big challenge to cement his place before he goes on to.
And a big bad monster like Miro was just tailor made for it.
Oh yeah,
I have to think that Mox.
There's no way this match is going to end. There's no way Bryan versus Page is going to end clean.
Well, it's just going to be another time limit, isn't it?
But after seeing this, I have to believe that Mox was definitely going to win this tournament.
Yeah,
because he would have done the heel turn, and it would have been a great foe for Hangman's first opponent.
Yeah. So maybe we see the Bryan Danielson heel turn. We'll wait and see. Okay, so on to the next match, which was the Super Click versus Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. Just a point on this match, when you're doing a kind of Falls Count Anywhere street fight type match, how they started this match is how you do it. Take note, Chris Jericho, you dickhead. But we'll go on to that more in a minute. Really good match, a lot of high spots as you'd expect from a Young Bucks match. Some nonsense on this match as well. The whole making Jungle Boy eat tacks and then also the knee pads with the tacks on it just wasn't for me. It was a bit too over the top and it kind of ruined the match for me. What's your thoughts, Matty?
Oh, the over the topness came from the very beginning when the Young Bucks made their entrance and Nick Jackson had pinked his mustache. But the over the topness, like that knee pad sleeve didn't really make sense. I really enjoyed all of the high spots. I'm a spot junkie. I love watching hyper athleticism, especially from big men like Luchasaurus. That shooting star press was absolutely mental.
Oh, it was.
But this match, top to bottom, I really enjoyed. There was a couple things that made me go, "That's a bit much," but well, we got a street fight and we got Jurassic Express and Christian Cage coming out in jeans, so nothing screams street fight like jeans.
I tell you one thing as well that got me in this fight was I know Adam Cole bladed. And it actually looked like paint at the first point, which, obviously, it wasn't the desired effect, but it really did look like he painted his forehead at first. And also, when Christian Cage done the crossbody off the top, God, he looked old doing that crossbody. He looked like it was kind of, do you know what I mean? I think he looks out of place with these younger guys now. I really like Christian, but in these matches, I think he gets exposed. What's your thoughts, Jimmy?
Absolutely. He shouldn't be doing these kind of matches, especially with the Young Bucks, because they're going to be doing these kind of things every single match. As Maddie said, there was a few spots that made you go, There was a lot of spots that made me go, Well, and the biggest one to me was the knee pads with the tacks on them. They make a big spectacle out of it. They do it. They hit Luchasaurus with the triple knees with the tacks on them. That's a big spot. I expect to see Luchasaurus out for a while. Not even 2 minutes later, there he is, full of himself, doing what Luchasaurus does. And I'm like, what the fuck was the point?
Why are we doing that to someone with a mask as well?
There was a lot of spots that made me. It's a Young Bucks, and I don't think anyone doesn't know my disdain for the Young Bucks at this point. You will not hear this very often about an Adam Cole match. I just didn't like it. I just was like, come on, finish it up. I will say, I think I called this ending perfectly yesterday when I said Jungle Boy would pin. And I'm glad it happened because Jungle Boy deserves it. He is slowly becoming one of my absolute favorites.
Another pillar
on AEW, and he definitely deserved that big moment on the big pay-per-view. So I'm glad that was the finish.
Totally agree.
And the crowd just loved that song.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I'm doing it at the house.
Yeah, I'm the same. I was like that.
Yeah.
I was singing along to
He's
it.
A star.
And he is a star. And do you know what? He's only going to get better and better. as he goes on.
The 4 pillars of AEW, all 4 of those young men are gonna take this company far.
The only thing I'd say is I actually prefer Jungle Boy in jeans than him in his normal attire. Maybe keep
Jungle Man.
Yeah, maybe you can turn around and start wearing a New York hat and be Jungle Boy of New York or something like that.
I'm very curious where Jungle Boy is going to evolve to. Like, where does he go from Jungle Boy? Because he can't be Jungle Boy 15 years from now.
Jungle Teen?
Jungle Jack? Is that what he's going to do? Like,
probably.
As I say, you could become Jungle of New York or something like that. Jungle Man, and he could be the Concrete Jungle Man or something like that. keep the jeans. All right, well, we'll move on to the crappiest match of the night. Andre El Lidio and Malachi Black versus Cody and Pac. Crap. I hate Cody Rhodes.
I was going to ask, was it really that bad, or was it just because Cody's in the match?
No, it's bad.
It was bad. It was crap.
Malachi Black didn't go over. It's bad.
And it was very confusing. The structure of the match, the very much can they coexist from both teams for some fucking reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I thought Andrade and Malachi were on the same page, and then blind tag from them out of nowhere.
What the heck, man? Who cares?
We started the match with a blind tag,
and then when FTR come out at the end and jumped on,
not FTR, Cash Wheeler. Where's Dax?
Probably hurt.
Yeah,
he's had 2 brutal matches, so he's probably.
To be
hurt.
honest, I didn't even notice that the other FTR didn't come out. It was that crap.
Yeah, like I said, I skimmed through the match. I was not invested. I thought it was just a chance to get Cody Rhodes on the pay-per-view. They definitely had no interest in getting Malachi on it at first, which is a shame because when that man debuted, he was presented as a guy that is going to be a big deal in AEW.
You guys
lost to Cody, and he is just.
Do you guys think that Cody might be a vacuum for AEW?
Yes.
Anytime he appeared, and it was a rain of boos. The moment Arn Anderson came out and was like, "Hey, cheers," and then immediately after that was boos.
I will explain. Cody Rhodes in AEW is like a Dementor in Harry Potter.
That's a great analogy.
He's like just floats around and sucks the life out of everything that's around him.
And I hate it for him because I think Cody's really good.
He's a hell of a wrestler.
I loved him towards the end of his run in WWE. I loved some of the stuff I was watching him do after WWE. Mm-hmm. And his match with Dustin when at that second pay-per-view, I think, or the first pay-per-view, it was probably the match of the year for me. Mm-hmm. He can wrestle. I don't know what his deal is where it's just
where he needs
I want
to
to change the channel when he's on.
He's trying to make himself a John Cena. That's what he's trying to do, and it's not working.
No, because he's trying to. You just got to naturally do it. And I feel like he could if he stops trying because he is good.
Can we talk about that pyro for a minute?
He's naturally a dick as well, isn't he?
What's with his pyro?
Yeah, it's taking the piss, as you guys would say. Like he had more pyro in his entrance than I think the opening of the show had.
He had more pyro than the entire rest of the show had combined.
And AEW's pyro was shite anyway, so it shows you, doesn't it? They could actually pull it out when they want to.
His pyro budget is probably what they wanted for the exploding barbed wire death match.
Yeah, that's where the budget went.
Yeah. One thing that makes me laugh with AEW, and I actually wrote this on my notes, is I can't believe in 2021 they are still using the little flame balls as pyro.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's one thing that they need to be. Go and check out on WrestleBuddy.com, guys. My 5 things AEW need to do better. It's one of them.
Yeah. Question. We all agreed that Malachi Black should have been the one to go over here.
Oh, right? Malachi Black should have hit a black mass on all 3 of them and
stacked them and pinned them like Roman Reigns.
Yeah. I was about to say, Malachi Black does not need anybody else.
They've neutered the biggest badass they had.
Well, just to let you know as well, Malachi Black was actually injured last night. Come out very, very sure not long time ago on the news. Unfortunately, he got injured. Him and Eddie Kingston.
I had a feeling Eddie Kingston he was really favoring that shoulder.
Yeah. Okie doke. So we'll move on to our next match of the evening. We had Dr. Baker DMD versus Tay Conte. Great video package.
DMDT.
Yeah, they had a hell of a video package for this. And like you guys said, we could have had this for Darby and MJF because the match did not deliver to the package, I think.
No. A good match, don't get me wrong. I mean, well, it was funny that Rich Ford was shagging his guitar before Britt Baker come out. And he literally was. He was literally dry humping that fucking guitar as he was
acting like he's on stage at a concert. You're about to see him live.
Yeah, it's like a granny on epilepsy, wasn't he? But no, to be fair, at least she got a bit of a special instance. But I'll say it once, I've said it 10 times. AEW do not know how to book women yet. I don't get why they're not running with everything they've got to go and grab Fifth Finlay or somebody who's got experience with these women.
Because they got Dustin.
He fucking knows, doesn't he? He gets bladdered on planes. He gets bladdered on planes and sings at them. I think that's his whole expertise, isn't it?
Tay Conti at least has a lot of babyface fire. The crowd was firmly behind Tay Conti.
100%. Don't get me wrong. I like the women. It's nothing to do with these talents. They're not booked correctly.
And this rivalry had how long of a build, minus the arguing about each other's ass thing?
Almost 3 times as long as the Punk Kingston one.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that Britt Baker's main focus seems to be a relationship with Tony Schiavone, doesn't it? Week in, week out. But
I'll say this: I have nothing against Tay Conti. I think she has great potential, and as you said, she has fire to her. The crowd is behind her 100%. She knows how to present herself. I don't think we need to talk about how Britt Baker knows how, because she's the biggest superstar possibly in AEW because she knows how to present herself.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever is training these girls needs, or producing the match, I don't know if they even have producers. Someone needs to put their foot down and tell these girls to own their craft instead of just trying to. I really feel like this is the issue. You see these girls come out and they're trying new stuff every week instead of focusing on what they already know and becoming better at it. Because when you watch the likes of Sasha Banks and Charlotte and Becky, I hate to bring in WWE to this conversation, but you get those 3 girls, they're fantastic at what they do. And the moves they hit with are just crisp. They know what they're doing with them.
You look at it, Deonna Purrazzo is the same. Deonna Purrazzo is exactly the same. She knows what she's doing. She's got a repertoire that she goes back to.
And there's a long list of girls, and I feel like there's only 1, maybe 2 in AEW that you put on that list. One of them doesn't get enough TV time, and the other one's Thunder Rosa. But I feel like they're just letting these girls, they want to be that organization that's like, yeah, do what you think is going to be best. When in raw reality, they need to put their foot down and say, hey, let's pump the brakes a little bit. You can work on this move, but let's not pump it out until you've mastered everything else you're trying to do.
But I think just one thing that I will say.
Britt could have paralyzed Tay Conti with that botch on the apron last night.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was
one thing
bad.
I will say, though, is from the girls' point of view, and this is probably where it needs to change more, is when you've only got one match on a pay-per-view or one match on Dynamite, when it's a really male-dominated roster, these poor girls are probably trying to put it all on the line to try and keep their spot and to try and elevate them. If you're a Britt Baker and Tay Conti last night, you're thinking that you've got a lot of pressure on you to deliver for the rest of that women's locker room because you're the only one on that card, the only showcase. It needs to be better. You need to take the pressure off these by putting a few more matches in there.
I don't know why Tony Khan doesn't try and get the women roster their own like 1 hour program, so they can showcase their talent there and then build themselves up there. We talk about this on TNI for Impact Wrestling, but AEW's got a bigger roster of women than Impact Wrestling does, and the amount of women that are on the dark shows and that if AEW gave them an hour or so, an hour and a half to work together rather than try and outdo the men or outdo each other, then in like 6 or 7 months time you get a much better and stable match from everybody. Britt Baker's awesome, and the only consistent talent I've seen when I'm watching AEW has been the talent from Japan from the women's division, and like you said, Thunder Rosa, Chris Statland has been pretty
Serena
consistent
Deeb.
too.
I mean, and that's why I don't want to put it on Tay Conti and Britt Baker. I don't want to put it on them because, again, they're doing their best. They're busting their ass. I truly believe that. But someone has to put their foot down at some point. Like, hey, we know you want to do this, but I promise you the match is going to come across a lot better if you guys are fluid and the moves you're doing are looking good and you're actually selling things as opposed to just go out there and just do move after move after move after move after move. Because Tay Conti ate 3 curb stomps, one of those on a steel step.
3.
You know what that makes her? A bigger beast than Brock Lesnar. And that's absolutely nonsense.
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And, one thing I'll say with Britt Baker is I love her. I think she's really, really good. But when you see the botches and stuff like that, and people go on going, I can't believe WWE got rid of her. Well, when you see stuff like that, you actually can.
And it also puts Britt in a bad position because she came out and made that comment about, we don't need a performance center. We have this. And then you go out and put a match like that. It's like, well, you probably should shut up because you can use the performance center.
100%.
And again, I love Britt. I got her shit right here. I love Britt with a passion. They need to help these women more. They
as you say, a Fifth Finlay or, someone, Arn Anderson used to do matches in WWE for the women, didn't he? I'd be going all out to say to him, look, come over and help us here.
Somebody not named Dustin Runnels.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so we'll move on to our semi-main event of the evening, which was a certain Mr. Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk. One thing that was nice on this one, and something that I've got here on my notes, is Terry Funk. He paid homage to Terry Funk with his bandages, which was quite nice from Eddie Kingston. Really nice on this, but really good match. And the one thing I said with this one is just wanted them to go fuck it for as soon as the bang, and that's exactly what they did. And also, Punk shorts were nice, weren't they, Jimmy?
If they sell them, I'm getting them in white and black.
I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah. I think he's finally settled, or I hope he's settled on a new type of uniform now, because he seems to go from tights to shorts, where these shorts that he had yesterday were fire.
Yeah. I don't mind him switching up the gear. I always like it when wrestlers try out new gear, and the fact that he's going from long tights to short tights to these boxing shorts that I really dug.
I like that he plays with it on Twitter too. Like he like makes fun of the whole ordeal. Like
he even polled people. He's like, should I go back to the shorts? And they're like, I think 85% saying yes.
Sorry, can I just we've got Zane joining the chat. Can I just jump? Fuck you, Zane. As you were.
Hi, Zane.
I need him to leave for this. I don't want him to hear what I'm about to say. Go away, Zane.
Hi, Zane.
All right, go on, Jimmy.
I don't want to give Eddie Kingston credit with Zane in the chat, but I got to give Eddie Kingston credit because this is the match I said I was excited for yesterday, and it delivered 100%. Yeah. I think a lot of guys could learn about storytelling and ring psychology by watching this match, much like CM Punk's match with Allen. I think Eddie Kingston did a better job with it, but that he's a veteran. I expect that. I like we got a little bit of the tendencies of heel turn by Punk in that one. It didn't happen, but you kind of see the wheels turning on it.
You felt it at the end.
I'm really, really hoping that's the case. It's definitely not done, which is what we were wanting to happen. We don't want it to be a one-off. We want it to keep going. I want to see Punk go face to face with Eddie Kingston with fire on the microphone, because it'll be just absolute magic. I love the match.
One thing I will say about this as well is it seems it was something that Punk's not what he once was in terms of technical in-ring. He may get there again, who knows, but as you say, the psychology in this match, and someone made a good point on Twitter before saying this was like Cena versus Punk, but with the roles reversed.
Mm-hmm.
So Punk is the Cena and Eddie Kingston was the Punk. And I thought it was a great, really good.
The Cena nod was fantastic. I popped.
I loved it. I looked at Devin just open mouth, just like,
he did the first shoulder block. I was like, wait a second.
you're not.
Like, this dude is crazy.
And like I said on the podcast yesterday, this match was not going to be like a wrestling match. It was going to be a brawl. It was going to be a fight. And that's what both men brought. From the very get-go, Eddie Kingston hitting that spinning back fist and just going ballistic about it.
The fans like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, going ballistic. Oh, that just set the tone for the whole match. And once again, with the whole flip-off peep to each other, I think they flipped each other off like 15 times in this match. But for this match, it made sense because both these guys looked and felt like they wanted to fucking kill each other.
Yeah. Well, all in all, really good match for me. I thought it was really, really good psychology. And in the end, the right person won. CM Punk won it. But give Eddie Kingston his due. He played his part in this match.
That ending, we do need to talk about that.
If Zayn was in the chat, I would not give Kingston his due. But since he's not in the video, I wouldn't give him his due. But since he's gone, Eddie Kingston, props.
Yeah.
That ending where Punk was trying to shake the hand of Kingston and Kingston was just like, and walked out, that it felt real. Like that, like felt like you saw two people fight and one's like, good fight. And the other person's like, no, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I hope Eddie's not that badly hurt because the next time I see him, I want him to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. Beat that ass.
Right, okay, so we'll move on to our co-main event of the night. I do apologise. Forgot about this match, which shares a lot about it. American Top Team versus the Inner Circle in a Minneapolis street fight. Now, this is how you do a street fight bad when you start it off. You know, since when, as a street fight meant, all your fucking team members have to stand on the outside and wait for the tag?
Tagging.
It's a street fight. It's a fucking street fight.
So they wanted to follow the tag rules.
Like a WWE match.
They wanted to follow the tag rules in this match. Is that
at the very beginning? And the moment Dan Lambert got in there with Jericho, they were like, "Oh fuck this!" I will say though, Junior Dos Santos surprised the shit out of me with that standing moonsault out of nowhere.
That dude's an athlete.
He's an athlete, yeah.
He's a physical specimen. I've stood next to that man. I was like, "Oh damn, he is a specimen."
Dude's a hoss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, as I say, it was at first they were all standing on the side. It was kind of like tag in, tag out, and I was like, fuck's sake. And then they finally realized it was a street fight and they all just went metal, which was great. It should have been like that from the start. It should have been ding, ding, bump, but it wasn't. And it ruined the match for me because I felt like the match didn't start until, as you said, Dan Lambert got in and then it all went crazy. And that was where it kind of went well for me after that point. But before then, it was...
It felt kind of short, too. Did anybody else feel like after that beginning part, the match kind of felt a little shorter? Because it felt like there was the weapon spots, the Baron Von Raschke spot, and then the ending.
Good.
It felt like it was two matches. The first bit where it was like a bit of a tag match and whatnot. And then once it all went crazy and it went thing, it felt like that was a different match, and this was too slow and this was too fast.
I think they probably realized that doing like the 6-man street fight was kind of hard to keep up with just 6 men. With 10 men, I think it would be damn near impossible to really put that on TV and it be something we could follow. So I think the formula they were going with makes sense, but in all honesty, they should have never done a 10-man street fight. It's a dumb idea.
And you know what? You've got a good point because there was a bit on it where Sammy Guevara has an American football, and I kept watching him, and I was like, "What's he gonna do with this? What's he gonna do with this?" And it switched cameras, and you seen someone grabbing the groin and going down. I was like, "Bastard! He's just flipping at them, and we've missed it."
You gotta think if there's 10 people just going crazy on each other, and it's those 10 people, I'm gonna be like, "What's Sammy doing?" That's the only person I'm gonna want to know what's happening with.
And he did something.
So like if I'm having to watch Jericho and Lambert do something, or Arlovsky and Hager, I don't care. I don't. I want to know what Sammy's doing. So I think I know what they were doing. It just they should have never done it.
No, and Jack and Swagger needs to, or Hager, whatever the fuck he's called, stay off the top rope, you idiot.
That I was a little worried. I was like, that's a lot of meat for someone who doesn't know how to control it.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't hate me who won that match. I fast forwarded. I got tired of it.
Who do you think?
Inner Circle.
Oh yeah, who got
Chris
the pin?
Jericho with an Eddie Guerrero tribute with the frog splash.
I called that as well, right?
You called it. Do you know what? I would have been mad, but the way that he carried out with the frog splash and stuff, he genuinely looked emotional after it. And I don't mean like acting; he looked genuinely emotional.
How bad did it look?
Do you know what? It didn't look that bad.
It was actually pretty mint.
Pretty good. But afterwards, he's kind of looking up and
just like for 2 minutes staring up at the sky.
But like he looked all emotional and he was talking up to the and it you know.
He mouthed the words, "I love you, Eddie."
Yeah.
I mean, as we always say, you know, wrestling mimicking real life makes the best story. And
yesterday was the 15-year. Yesterday was the 15-year anniversary for Eddie's passing, so there was a lot of Eddie Guerrero tributes here.
Yeah, we got I don't know whether you noticed in the FTR Lucha match when they both done the Three Amigos as well. So we had that.
Yeah.
Shoulder shimmies.
Andrade did it, but Andrade always does it. Jericho did it. Punk did it. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. But with Jericho, it seemed the real raw, organic kind of thing, which, you know, as I say, I was looking at, I was thinking, do you know what, this is kind of cool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they go back to the early 90s, so
They've been together since Japan and ECW and WCW. They've been together for over 25 years.
Oh, 100%. Right, so we'll move on to our main event. Hangman versus Mr. Omega.
You did miss Jay Lethal's debut, but
I'm not going to talk about it. No.
Let's go to the main event.
Right, I'm just one thing I will say is no problem with Jay Lethal. Looking forward to seeing him, but AEW need to fuck off with keep on debuting people on every fucking show. I was really promised for this, thinking yes, we're going to get an actual AEW pay-per-view with no debuts and just focus on the talent you've got, and then they had to go and do that. So piss off,
laddie.
And not only debuts
just shut down.
Not only debut him, but debut him literally before Hangman's moment. It's stupid. You don't take away from a moment you've been building for 2 years. I don't get the set. And I know I don't want to say just Jay Lethal, but it's not like it's it's not like it's Bray Wyatt, but it's still, you're taking some of the luster away from Hangman's moment by debuting somebody. It's dumb.
That's it. And one thing I will say as well is I love the entrance graphic that they have for Hangman. Bring them out on a fucking horse, will you? Honest to God. Why haven't
celebration on Wednesday? He better come out on a horse.
Oh, we fucking best do. He should have come. Do you know what? They should have had him riding down the fucking street. Have him lift it. Have a stuntman if you need to. Do what you need to do. Kick the doors open, and then next minute it just has him running out on the horse. Boom! You've got it. Oh, that's it.
You got Dark Order on the side cheering him on. Hell yeah!
Oh. Honest to God. Like fucking Braveheart on his horse coming out. Dark Order all around him. Like, yeah, it writes itself, mate. Know what I mean? Why can WWE have Matt Riddle on a fucking camel, but we can't have Cowboy on a horse? They're not that skint.
I won't go there. I won't go there. I won't be a homer.
But all in all, the match was really good.
Really,
really good match. Very well done. We said there was going to be a few swerves in it, didn't we, Jim? You know, I said at one point when I was watching, I thought, oh, fuck, no, here we go. Obviously, fucking Aubrey had to come out, didn't she? Fuck Aubrey.
The Young Bucks had to come out. Fuck off, Young Bucks.
Yeah. That was not needed. Although, to be fair, with the Young Bucks part, as much as I don't like them, I thought they kind of added that little bit of...
It fit the story.
Yeah, and I was worrying, thinking what they're going to do. And, you know, I was involved. They added to the story. Old Horseface didn't have fucking nothing to the story apart from when she long counted and then a couple of twos round there, little light down to make sure she got the hard cam on the floor. You know what I mean? I've never known a referee.
Showed up though, correct?
I do.
Mm-hmm. Both. So the dude who took the concerto was out there helping or doing his thing. That's a problem.
We can say though, I think yesterday in the podcast, someone predicted someone was going to kick out of the One-Winged Angel, and they did. It was
we
Kenny
also
Omega.
Yeah. And do you know what? Brilliant, really brilliant. And do you know what I loved as well after he'd done it and Kenny kicked out of it and Jim Ross, I think it was Tony Schiavone said, it just shows you how well Kenny Omega does the One-Winged Angel if he's the only one that can stop people kicking out. And I like that. I really liked it. Really like that, you know what I mean? Again, it protects the move, but it gets a kick out in it. And it
that was Schiavone? I felt like Schiavone had a few things that he said last night that kind of, usually he's just saying just mindless, dumb, that has no place for. But last night he was giving a lot of like intel that was like, okay.
Yeah, Tony was great last night. Tony, the commentary was great last night. Commentary was great last night.
I know. I even liked Excalibur, which I normally hate him, but
I like Excalibur. That's how I learned some of the names to moves.
Do you know what? To be honest with you, I love Jim Ross because of what he's done in the industry and that, but sometimes he pisses me off. You can tell when he's bored in a match or when he's not asked. He's just kind of, he doesn't even hide it, does he?
He seems to run out of emotion too quickly, Jim Ross.
I love it.
He gets either too invested or he just doesn't care, and it made AEW hard for me to watch this, listen to Jim Ross drone on and on and on and on when but then you got Excalibur going over the top with everything. As soon as someone gets punched, he's screaming down that he's just someone. So it's quite hard for me to follow when you got Jim Ross putting you to sleep and Excalibur waking you up screaming at nothing.
I thought it was funny is he kept calling Bryan Danielson Daniel Bryan, and someone finally said something to him about it, and he was just like, "Yeah, just deal with it." I was like, he does not give a fuck.
He's just there getting his money, isn't he? If I was them, I love Jim Ross. It's not that I want to see anyone lose the job, but I wouldn't be fucking renewing his contract if I was them.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing keeping him from getting fired is the bad publicity he would get if he let JR go.
Yeah, because and also Tony Khan come out, didn't he, and said, we don't let anybody go, we just declare contracts expire, so he's because
I feel like JR has done enough to be like, yeah, we got to take you off the show. He's done more than enough to warrant that, but I just don't think they're going to do it.
Nothing like a live WWE Dynamite.
That's it, isn't it?
Right,
and the end come in the end. We had the Loon Bucks come out, looked like they were going to do something. They didn't actually do anything. 2 buckshot lariats, and we have a new champion. Really good ending. I was really happy with the ending. Being 2 years away, coming to the top, so I think that he could have done it a little bit better. But in all, we got where we needed to get in the end, where we all wanted it to go. And
everyone went home happy. Almost everyone went home happy.
Yeah.
You just wanted to see Twitter meltdown,
Jimmy? I did. I wanted it so bad.
Yeah, and just so you know as well, if Dave Meltzer come out about an hour or two ago and said Kenny Omega was working hurt in this match.
Oh yeah,
really bad shoulder, and you couldn't tell. Couldn't tell.
I heard the news. I actually heard that news before I watched the match, so I had kind of the hindsight on it, and you actually could tell that Omega was injured. Yeah. Had I not heard that news, I would have just been like, "Oh, Omega, he's just doing what Omega does." But if you were to go back and watch it, you could clearly see he was favoring it at points, and I just feel like he was a step beneath what he usually delivers on.
And one thing I will stand up and bravo to Omega for, at the end, there was a nice little moment after he beat Omega where he leans in and whispers a few bits to him. So it's nice to show that Hangman showing him some gratitude, because give Omega his due. He could have said, I'm too injured, I can't work. And he's got through this. You probably won't see Omega for a while now, but he done what he done for his friends, because let's face it, fucking kayfabe out the window, the mates aren't he? And Kenny's given that, paid his dues there to him, and bravo to him.
I'm not the best at reading lips. I've learned to read lips pretty well over the years, and I think I did see Omega say, "You won, you deserve it," in like the 2 shots that they had on them after that.
Brilliant.
So and Hangman did not let anybody know what they talked about while they were in that little huddle down there. So it's between Hangman and it's between Kenny to know what was really said there. But I would like to think that it was Omega going, "It's your time."
Yeah.
Injury or not, Kenny Omega should be gone for a while.
Yeah, take some time off. He deserves it. He genuinely deserves it.
He really busted his ass this year. As much shit as I give Kenny Omega, he did bust his ass.
Dude killed it this year. 346 days as AEW champion.
And
not to mention 700 days as AAA champion.
Multiple matches across multiple shows. Like, he did
Impact champion, tag team champion over the past year. It's Kenny Omega. You deserve it, brother. Take time off.
Yeah. He'll be really good when he comes back, and the story that they're going to tell with there's a lot of big story there, isn't there, with the Young Bucks and Paige and everything else that goes into it. So, he'll be missed for a while, but it's one of these where it's the right time now to let him have a bit of a rest, a bit of time off, come back really fresh. All in all, really good pay-per-view. Don't think it was as good as All Out, but it was
still a hell of a show.
Yeah. Hopefully Kenny takes the Young Bucks with him for a few months too.
Well, guys, that is the end of our weekly roundup. I know we've gone a bit longer than we normally do, but we did have a lot to cover, and we really wanted to cover it all out full gear and in some kind of long format, so we did that for you today. Thank you for joining us as always. Make sure you go and check out WrestleBuddy.com for all your daily wrestling news. Also check out Jimmy's Raw review on Mondays or Tuesdays rather, giving you a little update on Raw, because we all know it's shit and no one wants to watch it.
Watch him out.
Jimmy watches it for us, so we don't have to.
Brave man.
Y'all missing out on some great stuff lately, bro. You don't even know.
No, to be fair, that's been quite good recently. But what I always do nowadays is I always think if Jimmy doesn't like it, I'm not watching it. So I'll always watch Jimmy first. So before you overcommit your time, guys, go and see what Jimmy says. Jimmy always gives you little bits and bobs to watch out of it. Sometimes I just write down what Jimmy says and goes and watches them parts rather than having to watch through the whole show. So
15 minutes for 3 hours.
So go and watch it. And also keep an eye out for our quiz buddies. We're going for the final next weekend. We've got a big weekend coming up with Survivor Series. We're going to have some watch-alongs. We're going to have quiz buddies, our predictions podcast, all live on YouTube and potentially Facebook. And we will look on getting everything sorted. And make sure you come and join us, because that's what all we're here for, is to make sure that we entertain you and we get to talk to all you. So until next time, Joe, Matty, Jimmy, thank you for joining me on our Wrestle Buddies podcast, and we will see you all again, same time, same place next week.
Goodbye, everybody. Fuck you.
Bye.
Boom.